Welcome back to Vulnerabilities, everybody. Ready for another WP Safe block.
Absolutely. Always ready to dive into the wild world of WordPress security.
Haha, yeah, wild is definitely one way to put it. But today, I was thinking maybe we could switch things up a bit. Instead of, just going through, every single vulnerability, maybe we could step back and look at the bigger picture, the trends and stuff.
I like where you're going with this. It's easy to get lost in the weeds with individual vulnerabilities, but understanding the trends can be much more valuable.
Totally. So let's look at today's headlines. We've got LTL freight quotes, small package quotes, subscribe to, YASMTP, trash duplicate, and 301 redirect. Even Team Builder for WP Bakery Page Builder.
Quite the lineup.
It is. And guess what? No surprises here. Our usual suspects are back. SQL injection, cross-site scripting.
And of course, unauthorized data loss. Never a dull moment in WordPress security.
Right. So buckle up, everyone. Today, we're not just going to name and shame these vulnerabilities. We're going to figure out why they keep happening and what this means for the future of WordPress security, right?
Exactly. We need to go beyond just identifying vulnerabilities and start understanding the root causes. That's the only way we can effectively address them.
Okay, so let's get down to business. First up, those SQL injection vulnerabilities and the LTL freight quotes and small package quotes plugins. So what's the deal with these edit parameters? Why are they such a problem?
Well, think about it this way. You have a form on your website. Users enter information, right? Like their name, maybe an address or something.
Right, pretty standard stuff.
Exactly. But in these cases, the plugins, they don't properly sanitize that input.
Sanitize.
Yeah, basically it's like scrubbing the data clean. You want to remove anything that could potentially be harmful before using it in like database queries and stuff. These plugins, they're skipping that step. And without it, attackers can sneak in malicious SQL code, essentially, hijacking the database queries.
So they're basically just handing over the keys to the database to anyone who asks.
It's not that simple, but
Hmm.
yeah, essentially they're leaving the door wide open for attackers. And you know what's in a WordPress database, right? User credentials, blog posts, sometimes even like financial data.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good at all. A successful SQL injection attack, that could be a total disaster.
All right, well, let's move on to our other old friend, cross-site scripting.xss. Ugh. It's like that cockroach you just can't kill no matter how many times you try.
It's definitely persistent.
This time it's subscribe to and YASMTP. What's the story there?
Well, with subscribe to, the vulnerabilities and how it handles the IP parameter. It's supposed to record, the user's IP address. But here's the problem. It doesn't sanitize that input before displaying it.
So, what, an attacker could just fake their IP address?
Not just that, they could submit a malicious script disguised as an IP address, and then when another user views that page, boom, the script executes in their browser.
So that's how they spread malware, huh?
Among other things, yes. And with YASMTP, the issue is a lack of output escaping. You can think of it like putting up safety rails to prevent code from executing where it shouldn't. The plugin, it displays user-generated content without properly sanitizing it. That opens the door for stored XSS attacks.
Stored XSS, Dad, how worried should people be about that? I mean, is that the worst kind of XSS?
Well, stored XSS is particularly dangerous because the malicious script becomes part of the website itself. So imagine a hacker injects a script into a blog post that steals user cookies or redirects visitors to a malicious website, right? Every time someone views that post, they're exposed.
So once it's there, it's there.
Yeah, it can be pretty hard to clean up.
Okay, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about this unauthorized data loss issue. The trash duplicate and 301 redirect plugin missing capability checks. I mean, seriously.
Sometimes it's the simplest things that get overlooked.
Yeah, well, this one doesn't sound so simple.
It's about access control. Without those capability checks, anyone, even someone who's not logged in, could potentially delete posts or pages on a website using this plugin.
And for blogs and stuff, that's their whole thing, right? Content.
Exactly. For websites that rely on their content, blogs, e-commerce sites, you name it, this could be devastating. Imagine losing years of blog posts or product descriptions. It could cripple a business.
Ouch. And it sounds like even though the team builder vulnerability needs, higher user privileges, it could still cause problems, right? I mean, through local file inclusion.
Right. An attacker with at least contributor level access could trick the plugin into including and executing malicious files, which could, lead to all sorts of bad things. Data breaches, system takeover, you name it.
So we've got SQL injection, cross-site scripting, unauthorized data loss. And it all comes back to basic security oversights.
It really does. And while individual users can take steps to protect themselves, keep plugins updated, use strong passwords and all that, the ultimate responsibility for secure code lies with developers.
It's like we're always one step behind, right? Trying to patch holes after the damage is done. What can we do about this? I mean, as a community, how do we get ahead of these vulnerabilities?
Well, for starters, education is key. We need to make sure developers really understand secure coding practices and the potential consequences of, cutting corners. And second, we need to push for stricter security standards, especially in the WordPress plugin repository.
How would that work?
It could involve more rigorous code reviews, mandatory security audits, or even incentivizing developers to prioritize security. Maybe offer badges or certifications for plugins that meet certain security benchmarks.
That's actually a really good idea. Reward good behavior.
Exactly. We need to shift the mindset from reacting to vulnerabilities to preventing them in the first place. It's a collaborative effort.
Absolutely. So to all you WordPress folks out there, users and developers, listen up. Don't just fix the symptoms. Get to the root of the problem. Learn about security best practices, demand higher standards from developers, and let's make the WordPress ecosystem a safer place.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for tuning into Vone Vibes, and remember, stay vigilant out there.
Stay safe, everyone.
See you next time.